Beloved, come close and breathe with me, for this word is not casual, and this moment is not empty. I am speaking to you now with urgency wrapped in tenderness, because there are seasons when heaven leans in and time itself seems to hold its breath. Hear me plainly. A shift is near, not merely a wish or a wishful thought, but a turning of circumstances and a stirring in the unseen that will touch your life. 2 minutes is the marker I place before you, not as superstition, but as an invitation to readiness. Open your heart now. Receive this as more than text. Receive it as a promise arrayed in mercy. I know the long nights you have kept, the prayers you have prayed in the small hours when the house was quiet and hope seemed thin. I have cataloged every tear and noticed every whispered plea. Nothing has been wasted. The patience you practiced when everything in you wanted to quit was not empty endurance. It was the soil in which this miracle has been planted. I have been weaving provision, favor, restoration, and doors of possibility around you in ways you could not see. Now the time for visible fruit is edging near. Do not dismiss this because you have been hurt by delays before. Instead, lean in with a humble expectancy, for I delight to surprise my children with good things. Before the 2 minutes unfold, make a small space inside you. Pause whatever fragments your attention, the scroll, the worry, the endless planning, and center your gaze inward. Breathe deeply. Say quietly, I am ready. These simple acts align your spirit with the movement I am releasing. Miracles often require not only divine action but human readiness. When heaven meets a prepared heart, the union births transformation. Open your hands metaphorically and physically. Unclench, unclutter, and allow your posture to become one of receiving rather than grasping. Do not mistake this for a magic formula. The words 2 minutes are not a spell but a signpost. They ask you to be present, to be still, to posture your soul toward trust. The miracle I promise may arrive as a thunderclap or as a gentle revelation, a call, a message, a change in circumstance, a thought that gives clarity, a reconciliation, a sudden provision, or a healed space within you where fear once lived. Be alert to subtler movements, an ease in your chest, a quieting of a knot of anxiety, a new courage to take a small step. Miracles sometimes start as sensations, a lifted weight, a new thought, an unblock where confusion jammed your way forward. When the change comes, remember your first response should be gratitude, not speculation. Gratitude anchors miracles in relationship rather than possession. Thank me aloud even before you explain how or why. Saying thank you steadies you and aligns your heart with the source. If you find a message, a call, a deposit, or any sign that the tide has turned, make your first movement a word of praise. Gratitude is the language that tunes you to further blessing. When you bless, you do not minimize mystery, you enter it with reverence. Be ready to steward what arrives. A miracle is not simply a rescue. It is an opportunity to change how you live. If provision arrives, use it to mend what has been broken first: relationships, health, lingering debts that have strangled peace. If doors open, walk through them with humility and integrity. If insight comes, act on it quickly with prudence. Miracles are gifts intended to be instruments for growth and restoration. Use them to build stability, not status. Let intelligence and charity guide your choices so the blessing becomes a lasting benediction rather than a fleeting high. Hold a posture of humility. The soul that receives with humility receives more. So when your miracle begins, do not let pride swell within you. Keep your heart soft. Remember where the breath of life first came from, and let that memory keep your feet on steady ground. Speak to those who walked with you in difficult seasons. Thank them and honor them. When you allow others into your joy responsibly, your miracle diffuses into communities and multiplies its purpose. Humility safeguards the miracle from becoming a snare of self aggrandizement. Expect resistance from inside and out. Not everything will applaud your sudden lift. Old fears may roar, and old voices of doubt will try to rewrite what you know in your bones. People who have grown accustomed to you being small may react in ways that confuse you. Do not be surprised if unexpected friction arises. Even blessings provoke adjustment. Meet resistance with quiet confidence, not with defensiveness. Keep returning to the simple acts that soften your spirit: prayer, breath, gratitude, and measured steps. Let the clarity you receive be clearer than the noise around you. Forgive quickly. Sometimes the doorway the miracle opens is the same doorway by which old hurt re enters your field of vision. If bitterness or anger surfaces, lay it down. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it is choosing freedom. Break the chains of bitterness now so the miracle can do what it intends: to liberate, not to complicate. Forgiveness makes room inside you for new things to live and thrive. It is the soil in which restoration roots. Do not be cavalier with publicity. Choose discretion about what you broadcast and whom you trust with sensitive details. Not every blessing needs a public declaration. Wisdom says, celebrate with those who have proven love and steadiness. Guard the particulars that could invite unnecessary burden or exploitation. Privacy is a mercy and often a wise hedge against undue pressure. Protect your family, your heart, and your future by being selective about where you display this miracle. Remember your practice of generosity. One safe spiritual reflex to train now is immediate, small generosity. Before you spend impulsively out of surprise, whisper, "Who else needs this?" Make a small allocation, a gift, a meal, a call to someone struggling, and watch how generosity steadies your reaction. Giving from the first wave of blessing is a spiritual discipline that keeps abundance flowing rather than accumulating into self-centered danger. It is also a way of honoring the source that delighted to surprise you. If your miracle arrives as reconciliation, be tender. Rebuilding trust is an art of small, consistent acts. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Listen more than you speak. Keep promises, even the small ones, and let your actions be louder than the apologies. Restoration takes time, and patience is the faithful companion of any true healing. If doors open to renewed relationship, walk gently and give space for wounds to heal in their own rhythm. If the miracle is a vision or clarity, do not hoard insight. Put it into action in small, strategic ways. Test ideas with humility and iterate as you go. A vision without discipline is merely a fantasy. Discipline without vision is drudgery. Let your clarity create a path you can walk consistently, one faithful step at a time. Build structures that support the dream, a schedule, a budget, mentors, and accountable friends. Miracles that end in sustainable change are those accompanied by thoughtful design. Guard your imagination against scarcity's old tales. You have been tempted to imagine the worst because the worst once seemed probable. Replace those rehearsed narratives with a new inner movie, one where provision is real, where doors open, where courage meets opportunity. Rehearse it gently. Speak short, true sentences. I am provided for. I will steward this well. I will give thanks. Words shape posture. Posture shapes action. Action manifests provision. Do not underestimate the power of what you rehearse in the quiet of your mind. Celebrate with sobriety. Joy and discernment can hold hands. When blessing bursts in, let the first moments be for thanksgiving and prayer. Then invite counsel. Do not let celebration become recklessness. Take stock, plan prudently, and move with wise urgency. A measured celebration honors both the gift and the responsibilities it brings. If nothing visible changes in those 2 minutes, hold steady. Sometimes the first movement is an inner shift you cannot yet quantify. Perhaps the miracle is reorienting your heart, loosening fear, or granting a vision you will follow in time. Trust the invisible work. Cultivate patience without abandoning expectancy. Keep your hands open and your feet moving in small, faithful steps. Trust me with your history. If the miracle seems to contradict past disappointments, let grace rewrite your memory. Your past has shaped you, but it does not have the final word. I am a God who repurposes pain into testimony and failure into footing for future ascent. What you thought would disqualify you may become your qualification, for your scars teach you compassion and your failures teach you wisdom. Wear them with humble pride. They are the proof of survival that makes your miracle testimony credible and tender. Speak your part of the miracle by naming it out loud. If you can, declare a simple, specific sentence about what you are ready to receive. I receive clarity. I receive provision. I receive healing. Naming is not controlling, it is participating. Your voice partners with what I am doing. Do not be ashamed to speak the small, trembling things. Speaking invites the unseen into the realm of the visible. Finally, live forward. A miracle is a hinge, not a resting place. Walk through the open door with courage. Use what you receive to build, to heal, to bless. Let the miracle be the beginning of a new chapter, not the end of your story. Keep practicing humility, gratitude, and generosity so that the blessing becomes amplification of what already mattered rather than replacement for what mattered. Beloved, lean into these minutes and make room inside you for wonder. 2 minutes is a breath. Breathe deeply, open wide, and receive. I am with you in the hush and in the thunder, in the invisible turning and in the visible change. Trust me, I am already at work. Your miracle is nearer than your doubt. Beloved, sit with me a little longer. There is more to unfold than excitement. There is formation. If part one stirred your hope, part two will steady your feet, so the miracle does not become a quick thrill, but the beginning of a life that is rearranged by grace. Hear these words slowly and let them move from your head into the places that hold memory and habit. The work of a miracle is as much about what changes inside you as what changes around you. Begin with a simple practice. Breathe and bless. When your pulse quickens with expectation, speak softly. Thank you. Let thanksgiving be your first reflex. Gratitude primes the heart to both receive and to give. It softens defenses and opens channels. When you bless first, you keep the miracle from becoming an idol, and you keep yourself from becoming its servant. Next, make a tiny altar of attention in your day. It need not be elaborate. A chair, a window, a hot cup held in both hands. But choose one small place where you will return in the next hour to reflect and to notice. Miracles are often followed by a cascade of decisions. Having one sacred place where you pause helps you move from reaction into intention. Use that place to ask one question and listen. What is the next right thing? Then, be willing to do it. Practice immediate honesty with yourself. When blessing arrives, your inner chatter will try to decide what it deserves and what it did not earn. Speak truth to that chatter. You did not earn favor by merit alone. You learned endurance and faithfulness along the way. Acknowledge your part without turning it into a claim. Say, I am grateful, and I will steward this well. Honest self-talk keeps pride at bay and opens you to correction should it be needed. Create a practical ledger. Write down the miracle in one line and then list 3 modest, concrete next steps. If it is provision, those steps might be: cover the most urgent need, establish a small emergency fund, set aside a giving portion. If it is opportunity, the steps might be: research one practical requirement, call one trusted person for counsel, schedule a reasonable timeline. Tiny, sensible actions keep momentum from splintering into impulse. Choose one trusted witness. Miracles can be destabilizing because they attract both praise and pressure. Pick one steady person, a friend, a mentor, someone whose life shows patience and simple integrity, and tell them the basic fact. You received something and you want counsel before major moves. Accountability is not a lack of faith, it is a faithfulness to the future. Let that person be both encourager and mirror. Tend your inner life with disciplines that last beyond the rush. Continue prayer, not only for more, but for wisdom to use what you have. Continue reading slowly, not for proof, but for formation. Continue Sabbath rhythms, even when the calendar tempts you to prove your worth through busyness. A life shaped by disciplines is a life that can hold surprise without being unmoored by it. Be deliberate about boundaries. As blessing arrives, people will appear with needs, some genuine, some opportunistic. Decide now what you can and cannot do and state it kindly. Boundaries are acts of love. They protect your capacity to give over the long haul. Saying no to unhealthy demands is saying yes to stewardship. Rehearse generosity before you need it. Make a small pledge now, not necessarily public, but practical. A percentage you will give, a person you will help, a place you will serve. When you pledge in mind and heart before the blessing overwhelms you, it becomes easier to act from principle rather than from impulse. These small commitments are spiritual training that scaffold larger acts of mercy later. Listen for the soft confirmations that follow. After an initial change, look for gentle confirmations, doors that open, conversations that land, doors that close that protect you. Do not mistake speed for wisdom. The confirmations will often arrive in steps. Notice which ones bring peace and which create hurried anxiety. Peace is a reliable indicator of alignment. Practice quick mercy toward those whose responses disappoint you. Some will react poorly when your life shifts. Jealousy and fear can reveal themselves. Meet these with compassion, not quick defense. Pray for those who struggle to celebrate you. Your graciousness in the days after a miracle often becomes the testimony that the change was from a wholesome source. Refine your spending heart before you spend. If provision touches your life, decide on categories: necessity, restoration, future, and generosity. A tiny allocation to each keeps the blessing from being consumed by any single desire. Necessity heals present danger. Restoration repairs the places that have frayed. Future builds stability. Generosity multiplies blessing outward. This simple structure prevents splintered choices and keeps the blessing sustainable. Keep a log of lessons. As the days unfold, write what you learn about yourself in response to the miracle. What fear arose? What joy surprised you? What patterns returned? This log will be invaluable later. A map showing how grace changed you and where you still need formation. It is easy to forget the interior shifts. Recording them keeps memory honest. Return often to humility. A miracle is not a trophy. Let its primary work be to increase your capacity, not your display. When you feel the temptation to boast, step aside and recount a hidden sacrifice you made or a modest person who helped you. Humility rewires joy into a servant posture that blesses many. Move slowly into public testimony. If you feel led to share what happened, tell the story with care. Emphasize the goodness of the source and the work you intend to do with the blessing. Avoid precise financial details that could invite requests or predators. Share what will edify others and point them toward hope without inciting envy. Invite restoration as a first use. If you can repair something that has been broken, a relationship, a house, a reputation, let the first acts of your stewardship be toward repair. Repair is prophetic. It signals that the miracle's purpose is not comfort alone, but reweaving the fabric of life. Restoration is powerful because it demonstrates what blessing is for: reconciliation, health, and renewed purpose. Keep your eyes on the long horizon. A miracle is a hinge, not a destination. Let your decisions build a path that lasts. Invest in learning, in relationships, and in structures that can carry tomorrow as well as today. Think in terms of seasons. What seeds will you plant now that can bear fruit beyond this year? Practice gratitude as routine, not rare. Make a small daily habit, a line in a journal, a text to someone who prayed, a moment of silence in the same chair you made an altar. Habits turn gratitude into wiring that persists when novelty fades. Finally, remember this: your miracle is meant to align you more closely with love. Let your first question in decision making be, who does this serve? If the answer widens life and restores dignity, you are likely moving in the right direction. If the answer is primarily self serving, pause and ask for more clarity. Beloved, these are the crafts by which a miracle becomes a vessel for a renewed life. Practice them now, even before the 2 minutes have fully told their story, and you will find that when change comes, you are not only delighted, you are ready. Beloved, now we come to the close, yet the close is never an ending, it is a threshold. A miracle promised and a miracle received is not a punctuation mark. It is a new sentence written into your story. The secret you were shown, the hope you carried, the 2 minutes that felt like eternity collapsing into a moment, all of it was not only about what was given, but about who you are becoming through it. This final part is not to end your anticipation, but to anchor you so that every tomorrow is lived in rhythm with grace. Hold in your heart this truth: you are not defined by the miracle, but the miracle will reveal what has always been inside you: faith, resilience, longing, and a hunger for more than survival. The provision or opportunity or healing that arrives is only the surface of the gift. The deeper miracle is that you dared to believe again. You dared to stay open. You dared not to turn away when discouragement whispered it would never come. That courage is priceless, and it cannot be taken from you. Do not fear the days ahead if they are quiet after the surprise. Stillness does not mean abandonment. It means roots are growing beneath the soil. Many blessings are planted like seeds, and only in time do their shoots break through. Be patient in the silence. Be faithful in the ordinary. The God who startled you with sudden goodness will sustain you with steady grace. Remember, too, that your miracle is not a possession to guard, but a river to flow. The more you let it move through generosity, the more it replenishes itself. Hoarded water stagnates, but poured out water becomes life to the thirsty. Let your miracle refresh others. A word of encouragement, a gesture of compassion, a sharing of resources, a testimony of hope. Every act of release multiplies the blessing. Guard your heart from pride. Miracles are meant to humble, not inflate. When others look at you and wonder why you were chosen, point not to your own worth, but to the mercy that sees beyond worth. Mercy chose you not because you were flawless, but because you were willing. Let that humility keep you soft, approachable, and tender with others. Lift your eyes higher than the miracle itself. Fix them on the one who gave it. This will keep you from chasing signs without seeking the giver. Miracles will come and go, Seasons will rise and fall, but love eternal will remain your anchor. If you root yourself there, no loss will destroy you, and no gift will distract you from the greater purpose. And know this, more is still unfolding. One miracle is not the end of the story, but the opening chapter of a larger restoration. Do not settle into complacency. Stay awake, stay attentive, stay surrendered. The same God who shocked you once can surprise you again in ways you cannot yet imagine. Let expectancy be your posture and gratitude be your song. So tonight, tomorrow, and in every day forward, live with open hands. Receive with humility, release with generosity, walk with courage, and rest with peace. Carry this secret close. You are beloved, you are seen, you are never abandoned. This is the final part of the message, but it is only the beginning of the life you are meant to walk. Step into it now with trust. And when you wonder if the miracle is real, place your hand on your heart, breathe deeply, and remember, love itself is the greatest miracle, and it is already within you. Go in peace, beloved. The miracle has happened, and the story continues. Glowing Star,